Welcome to our deep dive on financial resilience during a perfect storm of debt and job loss. Today, we'll outline a practical approach to stabilize your life when income suddenly stops and essential transportation fails. We'll focus on immediate triage, a dirt-cheap commute fix, the truth about emergency funds, and how to keep housing secure while restarting your income. Then, we'll turn to a short-term plan to regain momentum and reduce debt. Finally, we'll test your knowledge with quick quizzes and wrap with key takeaways. First, let's set the agenda so you know exactly what's coming. Here's the agenda. We'll start with the shock of losing income and transportation at the same time. Next, we'll break down triage to stop financial bleeding. Then, we'll craft a dirt-cheap commuter strategy, expose the emergency fund fallacy, and lock in housing stability. After that, we'll discuss whether and how to consider family assistance. We'll then walk through a 90-day turnaround timeline, followed by a quick quiz and key takeaways. Before we dive in, let's set a brief disclaimer to frame what follows. This content is for education and general guidance. It is not financial advice. Your situation may differ, and laws, costs, and opportunities vary by location. Please consult a qualified professional to tailor any plan to your life. With that said, let's transition into the situation we're solving. You're hit with a 1-2 punch. First, a sudden pause in income due to a closure. Second, the car you rely on for work breaks down. With only about $600 in cash and roughly $500 in existing debt, the pressure is severe. The instinct might be to finance a newer car quickly. However, that move often triggers a debt spiral. Instead, we want to make disciplined, temporary choices that restore your ability to earn while protecting cash. Next, let's cover triage to stop the bleeding. Triage means your first goal is to stop financial bleeding. Do not take on a large auto loan with high monthly payments and increased insurance premiums when your position is precarious. Instead, focus on one objective: restore your commute to restore income. That means buying a cheap, reliable used sedan in the $2,000 to $3,000 range, or using any temporary transport that gets you back to work immediately. Use private marketplaces, search for older models known for reliability, and confirm basic safety and mechanical soundness. Remember, the purpose is commuting, not lifestyle. This protects your limited cash while reestablishing steady income. Next, we'll walk step by step through finding that dirt-cheap commuter. Start with a strict purchase cap of $2,000 to $3,000, including fees and initial maintenance. Focus on simple, common sedans with readily available parts. Test essentials. Start the car cold, ensure steady idle, verify it does not overheat, and confirm brakes, tires, lights, and signals. Use a low-cost OBD2 scanner or a free code red at a parts store. Listen for engine knocks or ticks. Always verify the title and VIN. Meet in a public place, and bring cash only when ready to buy. Plan for immediate basic maintenance to increase reliability. Or insurance. Choose the minimum legal coverage that fits your risk tolerance, potentially liability, only for this temporary car. While searching, use buses, carpools, or rideshare to avoid missing work. Now let's model a realistic first-month cash plan to see how this plays out. This first-month cash plan assumes you quickly return to full work hours at approximately $800 per week for 4 weeks, plus your starting cash, with an optional family bridge loan. Outflows include a temporary car purchase around $2,500, title and inspection fees, liability insurance, fuel, housing share, utilities, food, and minimum debt payments. The remainder, around $350, should become your immediate emergency cushion. Without the family loan, your cushion would be smaller. In that case, you may need to reduce the purchase price further or delay a portion of debt payments within allowable grace periods. Next, let's unpack the emergency fund fallacy so we avoid paying interest for the illusion of safety. An emergency fund is liquid cash you already own. Holding a personal loan for emergencies while paying interest is inefficient, especially when you are already carrying debt. Right now, treat your $1,600 as your real emergency cushion and protect it. Because your housing share is about $1,700, you cannot afford instability elsewhere. Once income resumes, your first surplus dollars should rebuild a true cash reserve. After reaching a small but real buffer, redirect aggressively to debt reduction. Next, we'll compare financing a newer car to buying a cheap commuter to see why the latter often wins in a crisis. Financing a newer car adds a fixed monthly payment, often raises insurance costs, and creates dependency on uninterrupted income. In a fragile period, that increases the risk of missed payments and credit damage. By contrast, a low-cost commuter minimizes monthly obligations and focuses on restoring your earning capacity. Cheaper liability insurance and lower depreciation help you avoid compounding the problem. Once your income and savings stabilize, you can reassess transportation for the long term. Now, let's secure the foundation: housing. Housing is the non-negotiable. Keep rent current to avoid eviction risk. If timing is tight, communicate early with your landlord and document arrangements in writing. Cut discretionary spending to the bone until your cushion grows. As income stabilizes, automate essential bills to reduce the chance of missed payments. With the foundation set, let's discuss how family help can be used strategically and temporarily to accelerate your return to work. If a small family bridge loan helps you immediately restore your commute, consider it under clear, written, short-term terms. Specify the amount, repayment date, and milestones. The objective is to resume income, not to avoid uncomfortable conversations. Offer collateral or a token of appreciation if that builds trust. Keep the arrangement short, measured in days or weeks rather than months, and provide weekly updates until it is repaid. With that support option clarified, let's visualize a 90-day turnaround timeline to anchor progress. This timeline shows how the next 3 months can progress. In week 1, you acquire a low-cost commuter and resume work. In weeks 2 through 4, you stabilize housing payments and build a $500 to $1,000 cash cushion. In weeks 5 through 8, you continue minimum debt payments while aggressively trimming expenses and optimizing insurance. By weeks 9 through 12, you increase your emergency fund toward 1 month of essentials and start more aggressive debt paydown. Along the way, you complete basic vehicle maintenance, explore side income, and repay any family bridge loan. Now, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Question: with $1,600 cash and $8,500 in debt after a sudden income pause and car failure, what is the best immediate move to restore stability? Option A: finance a newer vehicle to ensure long-term reliability. Option B: buy a $2,000 to $3,000 reliable used sedan primarily to commute back to work. Option C: keep a personal loan just in case as your emergency fund. Option D: ignore transportation and wait for income to resume on its own. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to buy a $2,000 to $3,000 reliable used sedan, primarily to commute back to work. Restoring income quickly prevents further deterioration and avoids the risks of a new loan and higher insurance. Next, let's take one more quiz on the emergency fund concept. Question: which statement about an emergency fund is most accurate? Option A: a personal loan counts as an emergency fund because it is available cash. Option B: an emergency fund should be liquid, interest-free cash you already have. Option C: emergency funds should be invested in volatile assets for higher returns. Option D: you should ignore building an emergency fund until all debt is gone. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is that an emergency fund should be liquid, interest-free cash that you already hold. A loan is not an emergency fund. It adds interest expense and increases fragility. With that clarified, let's consolidate the plan visually with a mind map of key levers to pull. This mind map summarizes the plan. First, triage to stop the bleeding and restore your commute. Second, build a true cash emergency cushion before accelerating debt repayment. Third, protect housing and automate essential bills. Fourth, consider family help as a tactical bridge with clear, short-term terms. Finally, execute a 90-day plan with concrete checkpoints to ensure steady progress. To close us out, let's summarize the must-remember points. Here are the key takeaways. Restore income quickly with a commute-focused car solution. Avoid taking on a new auto loan while your situation is unstable. Treat loans as debt, not emergency funds. Protect housing and cut non-essential spending. If a small family bridge loan helps, use it with clear, short-term terms. Execute a 90-day plan that prioritizes building a cash buffer before accelerating debt reduction. For one last visual reinforcement, let's quickly revisit the overall decision flow we used at the start. This flow recaps the crisis path. restore transportation to restore income, then rebuild a cash buffer, and finally pay down debt. Temporary supports like carpooling and buses are bridges, not destinations. With everything in place, let's close the video. Thank you for watching. If this video helped, please like, share, and subscribe. In the comments, tell us the smartest crisis hack you've used or plan to try. Your insights might help someone else get through a tough week.